According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, the weekly teaser clip is now available. Fans can anticipate that Bridget Forrester and John Finnegan will be dubious of Liam Spencer's miracle throughout the week of July 21st. In the meantime, Taylor Hayes and Nick Maroney reach a consensus. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. The clarification of Taylor Hayes. First, let's talk about Taylor, who will meet Nick. It appears that the bridge situation will be discussed. Nick attempted to get back in touch with Brooke after speeding into Los Angeles. However, Nick had one requirement. Ridge Forrester had to be put in the past. Nick is making a lot of effort to win Brooke over, but she isn't sure she can. Nick and Taylor meet in the interim. Taylor's relationship with Ridge is questioned by Nick. Taylor stresses, though, that she is not merely involved with Ridge. Rather, she is engaged to him. The pact of Nick Maroney. Nick says that Bridge's reunion shouldn't be an issue at that point, grinning a little. It appears that Taylor and Nick share the same goal of keeping Ridge and Brooke apart. I might therefore envision them striking a deal. John Finnegan is doubting. According to spoilers for the week of July 21st on The Bold and the Beautiful, the preview footage also depicts a confused Finn. In one of the scenes, Finn and Bridget talk about Liam's miracle, but neither of them really understands any of it. Finn appears obsessed with unraveling the mystery, while Bridget may be able to move on. The guilt of Grace Buckingham. Another scenario features Grace Buckingham and the enigmatic surgeon performing surgery on Liam. However, since we have already witnessed Grace experience some guilt, this might simply be a flashback. If the scans reveal that the tumor has disappeared, I can't fathom them performing another operation on his brain. The mission of Eric Forrester. He exhorts Ridge to avoid making a major error while he is with Eric Forrester. Despite telling Taylor that he was pleased for her, Eric is working behind her back to bring Bridge back together. With Ridge, Nick, Brooke, and Eric all on the journey, what will happen in Italy? Which man will be Brooke's hero when she falls into the river? According to the rumors. July 21st, Monday. Bridget Forrester is questioning Grace Buckingham at the hospital about why she approved Liam Spencer's departure immediately following his thoracic surgery for the gunshot wound, raising suspicions about Grace. Will Grace tell Bridget about her experimental surgery, which I think is dubious, or will she keep quiet and wait to see how things work out? Grace might not be aware that Finn is aware of the experimental operation. Hope Logan and Steffy Forrester are still somewhat concerned about Liam, but it appears that he will wake up on Monday after a serious conversation between Liam and Bill Spencer. Naturally, Bill will inform him that the tumor has disappeared. Your life has returned to you. Grace performed a fresh MRI. It's a miracle. Furthermore, it seems too good to be true. We'll discover that it is, I believe. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful. Luna is still alive. Luna is discovered to be in a coma in the meantime. Now, this spoiler was absolutely unquestionably from a reliable source. I haven't seen that on any other websites, though, that also obtain the information directly from the network. I am therefore quite interested in this spoiler. In my opinion, Lisa Yamada remains in the credits, immediately beneath Jack Finnegan, and before the new credits that reveal the return of this week's Ivy Forrester, Beth Spencer, and Kelly Spencer actresses. It appears to be authentic. Even though I'm giving you the spoiler, I'm waiting to see because occasionally this specific reliable website, I won't name them, has a spoiler that other people don't. Additionally, it typically occurs when Bold and the Beautiful releases content later than expected. I am therefore treating it with skepticism. However, I also didn't believe she was dead. Lee Finnegan seemed to be lying to me, so keep an eye out for that. Brooke Logan is being courted by Nick Maroney on Tuesday, July 22nd, and they are getting very romantic, but she is still keeping a small distance from Nick. And on Wednesday, the explanation is revealed. In the meanwhile, Eric Forrester talks a lot about possibility, love, and life. The Forresters' journey to Italy has been confirmed. While they are abroad, it appears that Eric has some plans to disregard his business. This is the reason Brooke isn't giving Nick a resounding yes on Wednesday, July 23rd. Brooke offers Ridge Forrester a final chance, which is why Nick is making these love advances. She has issued a sort of command to him. Brooke appears to say to Ridge, "Look, stop dating Taylor Hayes. Put an end to this relationship. Don't ignore our fate. Pick me." Ridge is most likely going to say no once more. That is what will ultimately lead Brooke to decide to proceed with Nick. While they are in Italy together, their relationship is going to get quite amorous. However, they have not yet reached Italy. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful. Daphne returns and Nick and Ridge fight. Additionally, Ridge and his brother Nick are often combative with one another. They shouldn't get physical in my opinion. More of a verbal duel. However, everyone is aware that Ridge and Nick are not fond of one another. Since it would agitate Taylor, Ridge can't really come down hard and act envious of Nick's relationship with Brooke. However, it's clear that Ridge is quite disturbed. Speaking about jealousy, Carter Walton is taken aback by Daphne Rose's return from Paris. Hope will undoubtedly be unhappy about this, but she anticipated it. Taylor fears that Nick is accompanying the Forresters on their trip to Italy in order to court Brooke on Thursday, July 24th. Taylor must naturally want that to occur. Now Nick is simply not keeping up with this. The headquarters of Marone Industries are located in Italy. Therefore, Nick's presence in Los Angeles is purely coincidental. He would not be traveling to Italy. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful. Eric alerts Ridge and Italy transforms everything. In addition, Eric becomes emotional when he warns Ridge. Once more, I'm positive that Eric is saying, "Don't ignore Brooke. Don't ignore your fate. Put an end to your relationship with Taylor and look forward to the future with Brooke, the one you were destined to be with." Eric was a matchmaker. We are all aware of Ridge's stubbornness, and I believe that the more Eric and Brooke push, the more Ridge will back down. But in Italy, everything is changing. Steffi and Liam become close as a result of Steffi's near-death encounter. At this point, I will add that I believe Liam's death was caused by the shooting rather than the cancer, which I am once more beginning to seriously doubt. Spoilers for Bold and Beautiful. Finn and Luna Nozawa. Sheila Carter and her 8 toes stop by the Spencer estate to see Liam this week when Steffi is there. Sheila shows them both her new foot condition while using crutches. She was rather distressed when Deacon Sharp informed her that she had lost another toe, and that it was covered in a bandage, so I don't think she will be able to wear flip-flops after that. He said the long one when she asked which one it was. Flip-flops are probably out for her in my opinion. I wear flip-flops. Almost all year long I wear them. As a result, Steffi and Liam appear quite uneasy when Sheila shows them her new toes. Steffi gives Sheila a cause to be upbeat and positive on Friday, July 25th. Therefore, Sheila's post-shoot visit to Liam to see how he's doing might actually lead to Steffi opening the door for Sheila to see her son Finn. She might no longer be completely absent from her life. We shall see. This week, Nick and Taylor had a conversation before to their trip to Italy. She gives Nick a suggestion. Taylor is undoubtedly fully committed to Nick courting Brooke. Finn is suspicious of Grace in the meanwhile. Indeed, and so do I. Every day that $1 million miraculous procedure looks more dubious. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful. Liam reunites with his girls and Ivy Forrester returns. Additionally, Ivy's return and sentimental thoughts about Liam's nostalgia for their past occur throughout the week of July 21st. I hope Liam and Ivy get back together. Since she returned in the spring of 2024, before the jewelry line stuff, I've been thrilled. Recall that Steffi was acting somewhat hostilely after Ivy told Liam she was still into him, kissed him, and had lunch with him. Brooke discusses Nick joining the vacation to Italy with Ridge and Eric. This week, Liam also receives visits from his daughters, Beth and Kelly. Since Liam is wearing a head and chest bandage, it's unclear what the parents will say to Kelly and Beth. They can't act as though nothing happened to Liam, but at least they won't have to inform them that their father is terminally ill. Major Bold and Beautiful plot twists and Italy on location episodes from July 28th to August 1st. We will watch those Italy on site episodes during the week of July 28th to August 1st. They will run from Monday, July 28th to Tuesday, August 5th for a period of 1.5 weeks. They filmed on Capri and Naples. Genji, the B&B intern portrayed by Oliver Bell, the son of Brad Bell, will also return. See Nick's charming charm come to life while in Italy. Taylor gave him a boost and urged him to pursue it, so he will. Brooke, Ridge and Eric all end themselves in Naples, Italy, where Nick's business Marone Industries is based. Something that happens to Ridge alters everything. The last time he and Brooke visited Italy, it was similar to the keyhole moment. After some kind of mishap, Ridge eventually discovers that Brooke is the one he was intended to be with, and that she is the love of his life. We are aware that Ridge ended up in the water as a result of the accident. There will soon be more spoilers for that. This realization will spell the end of Taylor's relationship with Ridge and their engagement, as well as Nick's prospects with Brooke. According to Brad Bell, Brooke and Ridge will always be together. Finn sat in the library's back corner, where the thick carpeting and stifling silence of the old books drowned out any whispers. His fingers were a blur now, but he had a tendency of drumming them against the table when he was thinking. Across from him, Bridget, her own notebook unopened, stared with barely concealed alarm. The silence that had developed between them like ivy growing up a forgotten wall was finally broken when she said, "So you're sure?" He gave a nod. Something is happening between Nick and Taylor. And not just the typical dramatization. An agreement. Bridget scowled. A deal? What sort of agreement? Even so, what does that mean? Finn lowered his voice and leaned forward. After practice last Friday, I noticed them behind the gym. Not speaking. Whispering. Perhaps arguing. Then, as if they were afraid someone was observing, they both glanced over their shoulders. Taylor then gave Nick a little object such as a flash drive or key. Bridget's eyebrow went up. And you didn't say anything sooner? Because I believed it to be insignificant. However, after Coach received that anonymous message, someone informed him that the team had neglected morning conditioning, so we started doing suicide drills all week. We skipped, but only 3 people knew. Nick, Taylor, and I. Bridget reclined and gazed at the ceiling. Do you believe that they are all snitching? Brownie points for what?